What's going on, Pisces? Welcome to your July creative forecast. There are some great things happening for July, so let's dive in. So, on July 13th, we have a full moon in Capricorn. When I was meditating on that energy and just looking into what that would mean for us, it was about practical determination. It was also about grounding and manifesting big ideas we expanded upon and released during the Sagittarius full moon in June, and perhaps that we even started with the Cancerian full moon, new moon. Sorry about that. And so this is also about nourishment for the journey. Like, what are we taking with us for the long haul? How are we filling our cups? How are we staying in a state of grounded receptivity to our intuition? So, how do your daily rituals support you? Um, Expanding on details that make passion take flight. So, through discipline, determination, ambitious dreams. Also, looking at where you might be limiting your own expansion, which is also connected to the Jupiter retrograde on July 29th. And then on July 28th, we have the new moon in Leo, which is brilliant energy. So, this is sort of looking at where we, 111 on the time, where we have restricted ourselves in terms of energy, right? In terms of energy facing out and shining, right? How do we have we built our success and have we built our outcomes with our shining in mind, or have we made it so that we've built these belief systems that lock us out? Have we built belief systems that do that, right? This is about channeling your power, how you govern your domain, and cultivating a quiet, fiery trait, the traits within you that stoke your fire, this soft strength and power that comes from within you. Where is that, and how do you cultivate that? How do you stoke those flames? How do you alight them? How are you comfortable with that fifth house Leo energy of pleasure, fun, joy, sex, like all of those things that we're like, ooh, don't talk about that. No, 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 right? Some of the things that we're like, how do we integrate them so that we're not pushing them away and we just own them? How are we doing that, right? So this is also about it's a calling creativity back to yourself. This is about play, and free thinking is a way of stoking your inner fire. It's a very playful energy, and this is also a good time to start creative projects. This is a great time to start working on. It's a great time to start working on different projects as well. Though it's a great time to start working on how you want creativity to show up in your world and for yourself, right? How are you doing that? This is about using internally facing joy to catalyze the methodical progress that you make or that you lay the groundwork for, perhaps with the Capricorn full moon, right? That release of intention. And then on July 29th, we have Jupiter going retrograde, which is about testing limitations and assumptions that we have, right? That we have of ourselves and our expansion. So this lends practical insight into what we need to expand ourselves from, expand into from the inside out. So Jupiter in Aries was a lot about personal power, right? Honoring yourself, independence, really being in touch with what's most important to your sense of self, your personal impact, your 10 feet of proverbial space, right? Baptism by fire, if you will, into your sense of self. This is also about cultivating skills and habits that carry us forward. And this energy is good to surf in terms of reflection and things like that. You might be called upon to make quick decisions, or decisions don't really wait all the time, right? They don't wait for the best transits and things like that. They're not like, just hold off life. I don't think we can really make decisions on that particular topic for a while. Oh, sorry, my shirt is like in my binder. So it's calling for some pauses in quick decision making where possible. But honestly, if you have to make decisions quickly, what's really important is to stay true to what will keep the faith for you. What is it that is honoring you, that's true for you, that holds the light for you, that allows you to hold the light for yourself, right? Ask yourself, might this decision require me to restore faith later, or does this honor me and that faith now, right? The Jupiter retrograde the energies will be, I want to say most impactful, but the reality is that they're going to be most available. Let's word it that way, Pisces. They're going to be most available to the cardinal signs. So Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn. And that is energies of expansion and growth outwards, right? So that's the reflection period now is going to allow and facilitate that flow of energy outwards later. So mutable signs, Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius, and you, Pisces, will be feeling this the second most This will be available to you as well, albeit in less intensity. But again, you have different placements in your chart. So keep that in mind. So this is your inner world is going to become more rich and expansive. So keep that in mind too, right? There's going to be greater depth. I mean, you already have a great deal of depth, Pisces. Let's be real here. But I think this is just going to allow you to sink deeper into your creative impulses, into how you expand. Just that light that you hold. This could be a time of depth of intuition where you're deeply connected to that as it relates to curiosity in the world, how you ground your intuition in your everyday. It's going to be a great time. It's going to be a great month for all of these beautiful energies. The fixed signs, less affected by this. As an Aquarian, I'm like, whew, that is good news. Great, actually. Just because the Scorpio and Taurus eclipses in May and June were very they were very fruitful. Let's put it that way. 555 on the time. Indeed. So when I was meditating on the energy specific to this to this time, what came to mind, I was kayaking and the water was very calm and it was just so beautiful. It's this lake that was flooded. This is like hundreds of years ago. Yeah, it's not like, oh, it's new. No. It's an older body of water. And there were these trees in the water and the roots in the water were so beautiful. Some of them were as thick as the kayak I was in. It was just stunning. And I thought this rememory is the theme that came up. And it's a concept from Toni Morrison's book Beloved, which if you haven't read Toni Morrison, go do that post haste, my friends. It's excellent. Her work is brilliant. Beloved, Sula, The Bluest Eye, you name it, you read it. It's great. She has other work too, but just those are the ones that are most accessible and readily available to folks. If you were to walk into a bookstore and say one of those, typically they'd have it. Same thing with libraries usually. So rememory though memory is like a willful act. So we remember at will, right? But then rememory is like recalling something you forgot you knew, which is this beautiful invocation. And typically it's done in terms of trauma. But what I thought about was just the beauty of rememory, where we see we see these parts of ourselves, these deep, thick roots underwater that we find. And then it's like this calling back parts of ourselves. But like it takes us by surprise, and it's like a delight, right? This Leo new moon, this delight in rememory. And I thought, I wrote this down and I've read it in the other readings. So if you're here, I apologize for the repetition. I just want to make sure I cover my bases here and share it with everybody. But human-made constructs like dams or, social constructs and thoughts, beliefs, all of these things that we collectively build. These are human-made constructs that can repress. But when we stumble upon them, we see not the hard edges of human, but the soft lines of the divine in the way that the life expectancy of wonder carries on. So when we repress things like our natural beauty, our light, it persists, and it's about stilling the waters long enough for us to see the rich nourishment that we provide the ecosystem and that it provides us in turn. So that was sort of the theme, this rememory, these things that we are calling back to ourselves that are becoming more apparent in the ways that life is delighting us, right? So I'm going to pull from the Journey of Love Oracle here. Spirit, what messages do you have for my Pisceans for this July creative forecast, please? Thank you so much. Guardian of the soul family. You could be taking on different responsibilities. You could also be taking up, you could be, I'm hearing gaining a guide. Gaining a guide. You could also just be, there could be different roles that you're playing in your family relationships or familial relationships. It's nothing bad though. I get that it's quite good. Shakti. So life force energy for sure. Riding the cosmic wave. Aquarius also got this too. So you could have Aquarius placements in your chart. Okay, so let's pull from here to see where we go. Spirit, what messages do you have for my darling Pisceans for their July creative forecast, please? Messages for Pisces in their highest and best good. Spread your wings. Heck yes. Very much a similar energy here, right? Spread your wings, Pisces. Spread your wings. Two of Wands. Spread your wings, heart chakra. This also came up in Sagittarius as well. So you could have placements there. Could be dealing with Sagittarius. Okay. Could just be parts of your chart talking to each other too, right? Oh, sacral chakra. Interesting. Who else got? I think it was Aquarius that got the same placement with the sacral chakra here. And we have 15 is the devil. Interesting. So how you let the light in is sort of, it's interesting that it's master, because I don't feel like this is mastery necessarily. I feel like this is like sort of micromanaging your heart space, Pisces. Micromanaging your heart space. And I feel like this is a little bit of like there's a conflict in way that you're restricting yourself from shining. Like there's something, it could be the Jupiter retrograde where you'll see this more, or it will become unseeable, like you won't be able to unsee it. Like it's going to be very apparent to you how you've been kind of like dampening your light or tamping it down. Let's jump in and clarify these energies though. Spirit, what message do you have for my Pisceans, please? Messages for Pisces. So we have the Two of Wands, spread your wings. I feel like there's something that's quite exciting for you right now. Sagittarian energy here. But there's something that you need to balance. Like I feel like maybe you're getting a little carried away with yourself. Not in a bad way though, Pisces. It's just this dreamy energy where you're like kind of lost in the ethers. It could be like the way that you're conceiving of winning. Okay, so let me explain this here. It could be that like when there's conflict that you're facing, it's like you tip into that like fantasy realm as opposed to facing the conflict. And like this is like it's sort of like a defense mechanism, right? Like fight, flight, fawn, or freeze. Fight, flight, fawn. Yeah, those fight, flight, fawn, or freeze. Trauma responses. So I feel a bit like this is for you. I feel a little bit like this is it's like it's not about picking your battles, but it's like about picking your realms. I'm hearing like picking your astral realms. Like there's a way that maybe you need to ground yourself right now a little bit. Ground yourself, not in a bad way, because that's one of the things that you bring to the people around you is your ability to dream up solutions, alternatives, all this beautiful stuff. But I feel like there's a big decision here that you're going to have to face in your relationships. And I think it is going to have to do with this, like, it's almost like conflict management. Interesting. But I think it's the way that you approach it. So it's like approaching it from a more grounded perspective is going to be really helpful for you. Approaching it from a grounded perspective as opposed to a perspective of like being too far removed. Like you don't want to be overly invested in it and you don't want to be at the heart of it either. But I'm just seeing that there's a way that it's like, instead of focusing on where you are, it's like you're focusing on somewhere else, and that does feel good in the moment, but it disconnects you completely from where you need to be. And that's like a survival strategy. I am hearing trauma response really loud. So it could be something that you just took up and that's like what you do. It's not helpful though, because it doesn't ground anything. So even if, and this isn't to shame anybody for the reactions, because that's not helpful at all. Like it doesn't help anything. I feel though like there's a way that you're going to have to really ground your energy. You're going to have to ground your energy because there's messages that are coming to you through your synchronicities. And I feel like you're deeply connected to your intuition. There's the Devil card twice now. So I do believe this may be to do with the Capricorn full moon. There could be energies that you need to release that are not helpful or in your best interest or highest interest. And it could be that you need to be able to see them very clearly, right? So if we're in this place of illusion, this is also really helpful that Neptune is retrograde, because it will make it easier to see this stuff, right? At least in theory. It depends on the energies that you embody in your chart too, right? But it makes it quite easy to see through. And I think you're going to have to see through illusion here. There's some illusion that you're going to have to see through, Pisces, in order to, I don't know, in order to get a better handle on your own energies and to help ground them. Yeah. I don't think it's a bad thing. Like, I think that's like the work of creatives, right? Like poets, writers, painters, dancers. Like, there's some other place that, like, as a writer, as a poet, I get that, right? Like, there's some other place that you go to bring this art to the world. It's just, don't stay there, right? Don't stay there, because when I was in my teens and early 20s, it was so easy to just stay there. It was so easy to stay there because it was just so much better than the conflict that was like, that marked my home life, especially in my teens. But what it did was it disconnected me from a way through it. That was, that went beyond survival, because you deserve more than being in survival mode all the time, Pisces. You really and truly do. I hope that you remember that. So you're embracing this heart energy. And I feel like this is embracing this heart energy. And I think the light gets in by releasing your conflict. There's like a conflict in your heart a little bit, Pisces. Conflicted? I don't know. Conflicted. Something that you're feeling conflicted about. We'll keep clarifying, because that might be an oversimplification. Could be a storyline for some, but Four of Cups, Nine of Wands, Star, Hierophant, and the King of Pentacles. Whoa, hey-oh, and the Ten of Pentacles. That's nice. It's almost like you're healing your relationship to... there's like a way that you've... how do I word the way that... I'm laughing at myself and the way that I'm trying to stumble through words. And it just... it's like... it just sounded like metal grinding. I think you're feeling some frustration at the journey. Like, you feel kind of like, not hard done to, but you're like, it's like you're looking at situations that are crossing your path and you're like, are you serious? Really? 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 And it's not like entirely fear-based, and there's no, like, we're not perfect or anything along those lines, but there's something about that you're healing right now. So there's Aquarian energy here. So far we have Sagittarius, Pluto, Gemini, Capricorn, Aquarius, and then I'm also seeing this Taurian energy here. I think that you're healing almost the way that you expect. Like, I feel like this is like expectation. Like, maybe you expected conflict with this Five of Swords here. Like, it's like you're balancing your expectations, which is why you were often like in this sort of other realm, because it's like you were in this Two of Wands, like, planning stage. Like, your expectations were up here, but in this other way, because they were up here so much, it's actually indicative of this way that you were really out of accord or integrity with where you were. So you couldn't fully integrate the healing that was necessary to take place on the journey, because it's like you were planning all this amazing stuff and you were in this like higher aspect and beautiful. It's a beautiful place. But then there was a part where your energy was in this conflicted place too. So it was maybe messing with some manifestations and also your heart center. And being outside of integrity isn't to suggest dishonesty, but in a way it's just meaning that it's difficult for you to see clearly. And I think that is something that you're remedying and healing, right? It's almost like you're bearing water, but I also feel like this is you coming to the well of, like, coming to this deep well within you, and from which you are drawing not just water, but insight, real insight and wisdom and knowledge that's helping you to ground the energy that you were feeling in this Two of Wands place. So it's not like it wasn't without purpose, because I feel like it's helping you to ground this in a really, it's helping you to ground this in a Ten of Pentacles way. So like Ten of Pentacles is no small thing. This is like the marriage card. This is legacy. This is like ancestral stuff. This is like the legacy that you leave behind, right? This is the legacy that you leave behind. And I feel very much like this is this is like, it's like you're beginning to communicate with the material world instead of the astral planes that you were communicating with in this initial energy. So it's like the manifestations are grounding in this really beautiful way for you, Pisces. And it's like, this is where it's almost like this is the magic of your alchemy. This is the magic of your alchemy happening right here. Um, so I think the Capricorn full moon, the King of Pentacles here, I feel like this is it's going to be a very important full moon for you, depending on where this is in your chart too. Keep this in mind. But in light of the Neptune retrograde, I feel like this is going to be very important for you to ground your manifestations, because I feel like if you're, there's like, be cautious because you need to release this like temporal pleasure through which they are coming. Like, I don't know how to explain this, but it's like I'm seeing the energy and the manifestation coming through, and it's because of this, it's because of there's like an imbalance here, and you are healing it, but it's just making sure that the pleasure that you take from where you are is grounded in something that goes beyond carnality and this like carnal urge that is connected more to this devil energy, right? Because it's like it's like the root chakra is where the crown chakra should be. So it's like this almost reversal of energies. So it's like making sure that you're receptive to good. You're receptive to good in terms of pleasure and enjoyment and delight and all of these beautiful, rich feelings, while also making sure that you're it's like you're receiving it through all of your energy centers, as opposed to just ones that to singular ones, is how this is coming through here. Interesting, because Aquarius was slightly different. But that's where I feel like this is indicating to me that there is a block in your heart center. So it's difficult for the energy to move down and through, and to move into the chakra, the energy centers in the lower part of your beautiful body. So it's like it kind of gets locked in here, and it gets like in this spin of conflict. Like I'm hearing a washing machine. There's no washing machine on, but it's like I'm hearing a washing machine. So it's almost like there's like a rinse cycle happening. That is interesting. Like maybe a rinse cycle, cosmic rinse. Cosmic rinse. Sacral chakra, Queen of Swords, Four of Wands, Five of Pentacles, Strength, and Eight of Cups. I think that when you're clear what kind of stability you want, it's going to change the way that you receive things. This is fifth house energy, Leo, right? So it could be this could be indicative of the Leo full moon. Like this is where you receive the energy from, right? So when you're clear about what you want, when you want stability and you're clear about stability, that will come in. When you're clear about wanting, if you're wanting forward movement and momentum, that will become apparent to you as well. That will move through those centers too, right? So it's just, to me, what's coming through here is just like you need to be very clear about what you want, because if you're not, I feel like that's where these energy centers can get a little fuzzy, right? That's exactly what I was picking up on. Oh my goodness. So but I feel like there's this fuzziness to the way that it can come through if you're not clear about what it is that you're wanting. Now, wands are a passionate energy, but this is like a passion that is forward facing, that's commitment seeking, that is, and commitment just in terms of, contracts, but it's also like you're shaping it based on what it is that you're clear about wanting. This is like deep intentionality. This is setting intentions and following them. And following them just meaning that you're acting in accord with the intention. So you're owning it. You're not disowning this and saying, "Oh, I don't want this. I don't need this," and then internally saying, "Yes, I actually do. I really do. Yeah." Like you're able to let it go in a way that's really beautiful and profound. And I feel like this is kind of something that you might have wrestled with for quite some time. You might have wrestled with this for a while. And I feel like this is also a way that you might be starting something new here around the Leo full moon. This could be the new that's coming in. This could be new habits, new thought patterns, new projects that you're starting that are more connected to this depth of clarity that you have about what you want. And, knowing what you want it is a form of stability unto itself, because then you don't have to worry about confusion or miscommunication, expectations being fuzzy or funny. You can just declare it, and that's that. You can declare it, and that's it. You can put it out into the world, and that's enough, right? And that is like a boundary as well. And I feel like this is the Eight of Cups here is you choosing yourself. There's a way that you're choosing yourself here. Choosing yourself, but I also feel a little bit like this is making choices that honor the Ace of Cups that you are, right? Making choices that honor the Ace of Cups that you are. This could be related to spiritual path. These do represent to me the eclipse energy of Taurus and Scorpio. So it could be something to do with that in nodal points in your chart, depending on what houses they're in as well. Scorpio's 8th house, Taurus is 2nd house. And so I feel like they could be in those places in your chart or what have you. But something about path, like this is something that's, being this clear is integral to your path. Because it's going to help you not only stay, it's like very opposite energies. Queen of Cups, sensitive, open, self-care, nurturing. And this is almost like a denial. Like this is like self-denial. Like this is disowning parts of yourself, locking it away, and then saying that it doesn't actually matter. Like it's like the opposite of this energy here. So Pisces, it's going to be really important for you to own these parts of yourself and to just stand in it and own it and say, well, that's just who I am. And it's fine. Like people pick the silliest things to pick on others for. They find the silliest things. And the more petulant, the more punitive the things are, the worse it is going to ultimately, I feel like not worse it's going to be, but it's just like the worse it's going to bring out in you if you haven't sat with that part of yourself and said, this actually isn't a thing. And it helps you to place responsibility properly so that you're not taking responsibility for somebody else's upset. Because if you're in a place of locking away parts of yourself or making your heart inaccessible to you, you won't be able to take the journey to hear what is yours and what is not, because you're going to be too busy trying to respond to everything. And because you can't recognize what's yours, because you can't own the part of you that is you, that is yours. So it's like you fall outside of accord with yourself. And I think this Queen of Cups energy is really your heart. You're coming back to yourself. Like the light is getting in here. It's like this rememory of this beautiful heart center. It wouldn't surprise me. I'm feeling the Six of Cups, like this innocence, this childlike innocence. Two of Swords. It's like this childlike aspect of yourself, and not in a way that's like immature or some kind of gross thing like that. It's nothing like that. What I'm getting more so is just that there's a way that you're returning to a curiosity because you're more secure in yourself. You're more secure in yourself, and that's really helping so many other aspects of yourself to return home. We have Three of Pentacles here. Definitely building a solid foundation for yourself creatively at work. Like this is something to do with the way that you operate at a fundamental level. I've heard it said before that the way, wow, there is a lot of new here, Pisces. There's a lot of fresh energy. The wheel, there's a lot of fresh energy here, but I feel like there's a way that you've been operating where it's like it's almost like you're hiding parts of yourself from you. This tends to be seen as an indecision card, but I think it's more so of getting enough information to make the right decision. Could be a bit of perfectionism, but what I'm seeing more so is that this is like the way that you're taking in information about yourself. And it's like sometimes when we're indecisive about something and we can't make up our mind, what it really is that we're locking away part of ourselves and disowning it, and then we're mad at ourselves because we can't see the answer, but the answer can only come from us unlocking that part of our hearts or whatever energy center that is. So it's like, it's like, that's why I'm so grateful that like, some of my friends that I've talked to, for example, who are polyamorous, and, they come by it because they just recognize that that's who they are. And instead of disowning this, they own it. They say, no, this is what I want. And I'm so grateful that we're at a place collectively where it's not just like, there's still, people can still be assholes about it, but there's less stigma than there was before. And for that, I'm so grateful, because like, what a shame. I think about this in terms of, being trans and coming out, and being queer and coming out, right? Like, these ways that we can get so twisted around because we believe we are beholden to other people's perceptions of us. So we lock away these beautiful parts and keep them chained up inside in this devil energy. We can unlock that. We can unlock parts of ourselves and give ourselves back to us. But instead, it pushes us into these thoughts about ourselves that aren't true, codependent patterns, codependent behaviors, toxic relationships, addictions, obsessions, all of these ways that we push down because we need to unlock this beauty in us in just owning who we are. Can you just own who you are? And that's what I think a lot of this energy is asking, Pisces. But again, like, there's a lot of new that's expanding for you. There's a ton of new that's expanding. So it's like you might feel reluctant, but I feel like it's like asking yourself, what is honoring me? What is it that is going to honor me in this energy, right? This reminds me of the Jupiter retrograde, and reflecting, like, where are you holding yourself back? Where are you limiting yourself? Because you're going to be given situations in July, be they relationships, be they truths, opportunities to tell your truth, opportunities to come from that throat chakra energy and be honest with yourself, grounding ideas, new opportunities in work. Things will come your way, Pisces, where you're going to have opportunities to tell these truths to yourself. And it's really about understanding, how do you want to honor yourself? How do you want to honor yourself? Because you deserve to be free. I've come out twice, two times. Both times were terrifying. Coming out as gay, and then coming out as trans, coming out as queer, gay, whatever, and then as trans. Like, terrifying, right? It's always so scary. And I can tell you that, generally speaking, I mean, I'm grateful, because when I came out as gay, my family was like, oh my God, thank God. It's like, they were worried that it was going to be something worse. They were like, oh, thank goodness it's not. Like, one of my family members joked that it's not drugs. I was like, no, like, no, I don't have energy for that. But it's just like, the way that we can look at this as, it's like you're freeing yourself. You're freeing yourself, and just owning where you are and who you are. And when you get to that place, authenticity oozes right off of you. It's like it's like a steam that comes off your skin that signals to other people in that energy that there's a resonance, right? There's a resonance, because that freedom, it's a sensory experience, not just for you, but for people around you. And it's like deeply connected to this life force, right? And that's why when you're in this place of riding this cosmic wave, this beautiful energy, right? This beautiful energy, what is this person carrying with them? What wands? What swords? I don't see any, because they can't. You can't. There's a way that the freedom that comes from just being honest with yourself in where you are and what you want, right? Like, all of that is just beautiful, and it's so freeing. And it allows you this present moment, not just awareness, but it gives you this license to be wholly yourself. Like, it is beautiful. It's so beautiful. 3232 is just on the time. Okay, so I'm going to pull from the Elemental Oracle to start to close out this reading for you, my Piscean darlings. Spirit, what messages do you have for Pisces? Electricity. Yes, this is what you're tapping back into. This is like your fundamental nature, Pisces. Oh, this is so good. So good. It's like there's this it's like wildness, but it's like when you harness the energy of your authentic truth, when you don't disown any part of yourself, right? When you don't disown it, there's nothing you can't do. There's nothing you can't do. It is just incredible. It's incredible. The equator, to make equal. I think this came up in, my arm's itchy. I want to say the Sagittarius reading. I'm inclined to say that. You know what? No, I feel like I will. I will say this. It was in the Sagittarius reading. So it's almost like this to make equal. It's like you're balancing these parts of yourself that you sort of pushed away, right? I know that when I came out as trans, it's like I had this part hidden from so many people, and I was terrified. I was terrified of the way that it would affect relationships. Some of it hurt. Some of it did hurt because people weren't okay with it. But when you're okay with you, those are merely stings in a long life of joy that you've given yourself the gift of knowing. So I think whatever that is, right? Like, especially with the sacral chakra here, I think about like guilty pleasures. Like, some people are still afraid to be like, yes, I really enjoy sex. Why? Why are we afraid of these things? There's a book, if you're in that space, there's a book, and if you're in that space and it's owing itself to things like religion, there's a book by Nadia Bolz-Weber, or Weber, however she pronounces it, but it's called Shameless. And the author's name, I'll put it in the description. I'll put it in the description. But it's an excellent book, and it's like freeing us from these ways that we've like shackled ourselves to guilt and blame and shame. And it's like, if it's not hurting anybody, and it's enriching you, and it's not in this like obsessive addictive capacity, my God, why are you not like, why not just own it? So Pisces, just own it. Stand in the light and own it. I mean, you don't have to put yourself in harm's way or anything like that. Don't do that. But I'm just saying, don't push these parts of yourself away from you either. Like, look at that. That is just joy. That is pure joy. And when you harness that power, there's so much that becomes available to you. Not in the name of productivity, not in the name of capitalism or doing stuff and more stuff on top of stuff. But it's just, you become so you. You become so you. I think about the way that I was hanging out with a friend this week, and she's one of my best friends, and I love just I'm also an introvert and she's the extrovert, so we balance each other really well. But we were in a metaphysical shop, and I was just watching her interact with people with this effortless grace. Like, she just it's just this, it's something to behold. Truly, it really is. And I'm so grateful that she's in my life. And I was just watching her, and I'm like, man, like I'm just delighting in her being in this energy. And I think to myself, how would it feel for you, Pisces, to know that someone beholds you the same way? They just see you doing whatever it is that's your thing. And they just delight in knowing that there is that kind of joy on this planet in the present moment, happening not just in that place, but throughout the world. Like, what a healing thing to think about. What a healing thing to consider. And that just when you're in your authentic truth, someone's considering you and your energy. Someone's watching you with a smile because they get to watch you do your thing. Someone's beholding you in your element, watching you shine. Like, damn, Pisces, this is the message of shining. Like, shine that beautiful light. Love in spite of it all. Love because of it all. No spite. Love because of it all. And maybe it's just a realignment of your relationship to seeing love in things, right? To seeing the love to the love because, right? Love because of it all. Everyone is doing their best, so go a little easier on yourself. Be easy on yourself, right? You can't be free. This is also like, this is how we bind ourselves to criticism. This is how we hide ourselves. We criticize ourselves. Oh, that was so stupid. This is a dumb decision. Blah, blah, blah. All the ways that we talk to ourselves negatively, it also is indicative. Even just write it down. Catch yourself in a day. Seriously, try it. Catch yourself in a day and write down all of the things that you really judge yourself for. Like, sometimes there are times where like I'll forget to use a turn signal. I'm very good at doing this though, at turn signals. It's my thing. Just because it's a pet peeve when people don't. So then it's like, even looking to pet peeves, right? Like looking to those to say, oh, well then that's probably where I'm going to judge myself. But how do you talk to yourself in those moments? When you look in the mirror, what part of you do you look at and go, oof? Do you? Do you not? Like what do you do? Right? Looking at those times, writing it down. Okay. So just writing it down, becoming aware. Don't judge, just become aware of it. And then think about that abstractly. Pull back from those written down things. Pull back and then look at where it is internally that might sit in an energy center. Usually there's a theme that it builds itself around. This is like reverse engineering the belief if you're stuck and you can't find the belief. So it's like you reverse engineer the belief, and then you can pull back and say, oh, this is largely looking like it's impacting my heart center. This is largely impacting my root. This is largely impacting my throat, right? So it's like pulling back to see how that all comes together. But just remembering, Pisces, like everyone's doing their best, right? Remember to give yourself all the compassion that you give to other people. That is a creative power, is compassion. Compassion and empathy are creative powers, significant creative powers. And they're just beautiful. They're lovely. Don't deny yourself that. Don't deny yourself that at all. So Pisces, this was your July creative forecast. So I hope that this resonated. If it did, feel free to give it a like and subscribe. It helps me to continue to grow the channel, and I am happy to serve the collective in this way. I'm very grateful for it, actually. So if you are joining me from my collective here on the channel, thank you so much. I really appreciate your time and your energy. Thank you so much. The smile on my face is huge. So yeah, but you can connect with me in other ways throughout the month and throughout the day and week. So do check that out. But my Pisceans, if this is where we part, I hope that wherever this finds you on the time-space continuum, morning, afternoon, or night, that it finds you very, very well, my friends. Take care and have an absolutely wonderful July.